Hey guys, my name's Amber. I'm from the Canadian Youth Delegation. I'm from Whitehorse, Yukon, and I am sitting here to answer your questions that you asked about COP. So in terms of what's going to happen as a whole, we aren't totally sure yet. The next few days is going to help us figure that out. But at the moment, there's this thing called the Kyoto Protocol that's being negotiated, and some countries are blocking it, which means that we're having trouble getting it through. And we're a little bit worried, but we're not giving up hope yet. So at the moment, there are some countries discussing something called the Copenhagen Accord, which came out last year, and some people who are discussing this thing called the Kyoto Protocol, which some of you have probably heard of, which has actual binding targets. In other words, there's some laws behind it, whereas Copenhagen is voluntary. So that means you can pledge something, but no one's going to be upset with you if you don't meet your targets, essentially. So the Canadian youth are hoping that we get more people behind the Kyoto Protocol so that we can have a treaty with a little bit more teeth in the end coming out of this. And in terms of Canada, we're unfortunately blocking the process. So we're one of the ones that are kind of the bad guys right now. We actually just won something called the Fossil of the Day just a few minutes ago. So we're not so proud of our government yet, but we can always hold out hope that we can push them a bit more. And then in terms of the question about emissions, and if there's other things other than emissions being discussed here, there certainly are. We're discussing something called adaptation, which means the fact that we know there's climate change happening already, and we have to deal with it. So in my home in the Arctic, we already see impacts of climate change. And so we need to talk about how we're going to help people and countries to deal with the climate change that's already happening. We also have discussions, there's also discussions around how to finance things. So when we put in place these big international laws and treaties, how do we actually have enough money to make sure things happen? How do we actually set up the legal framework for it so we can hold someone accountable? We make sure they actually do what they say they will. And we also talk about public participation, so making sure that youth like me and like you guys can come to these meetings and participate meaningfully. So I hope this helps answer your questions, and I'm really excited that I got to talk to you today. Bye!